Hi Hayden! This video is for A Journey in the Arctic in your John Thompson book, 2nd grade, page 32. I'm skipping over the two previous songs because I believe that they probably require bigger hands overall because of the many notes that you'll have to hold down. Like the Starlight Waltz is a great exercise, but I know that your hands will be really find it difficult to like all those many notes that you have to hold down at the same time. So A Journey in the Arctic will be a lot easier. You'll be able to break up the task between the two hands, and you don't have to stretch your fingers nearly as much, while still, having a completely new technique, which is the music structure. It's as you can see on your page, you have the first theme, second theme, and back to the first theme. And finally, there's a coda, the extended ending, the tail end of a piece to make it a big, fancy ending. So the first theme and that happens two times are pretty much the same, except for the first time you will repeat it twice. And it has first ending and a second ending. When it comes back after the second theme is introduced, then you just go straight to the second ending. What you're doing the second time you play is you're basically just skipping over the first ending and you're just doing the second ending version. So as you can see, it's an 8-measure phrase. First one, you end with the first ending. The next 8-measure segment ends with the second ending. So they're both 8 measures each. And then here you have 8 measures again. And the second theme are 16 measures long, I believe. And as you can see, it says it's in the key of melodic minor. So melodic minor, you might be asking, and all the explanation will be found in the preceding 2 pages. How the forming minor scales. Minor scales are all based on a C major. And you bring down this, so you take like a C major scale, and so according to this page, at page 30, if you start the same scale, starting from the A there, it becomes it's the relative minor scale of C minor, a C major scale. Minor scale is A minor. So the C and A minor scales are related because they share the same key signature. So C major scale, no black keys. And if you start on A, I'm going to bring it down. So that forms a natural minor scale. Now, when you play a natural minor scale, it seems unstable because it's by the time you played several octaves of it, it's going to start sounding a lot like a C major scale, and it's harmonically unstable. So we usually raise the 7th note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Instead of playing a G natural for the 7th note, you play a G sharp. G sharp to the A. This G sharp becomes the leading tone, and it's the suspended leading tone. So that helps bring anchor down the minor scale. Now, when you raise the 7th degree half a step and in this case, it becomes a G sharp, then it's called a harmonic minor scale. And in your piece here, it is a melodic minor scale. Melodic minor scale means, if you go to the Hayden book, where the C major scale is at number 39, on the same page, there's a C major scale on the top 2 lines. The middle 2 are A minor scale, harmonic minor, and then the bottom 2 are A melodic minor scale. And melodic minor scale is just a different arrangement. You add a few accidentals. You raise the 6th degree, F sharp instead of F natural, and then G sharp instead of G natural, and then A. That's the ascending scale. Now, when you're descending, you cancel the G sharp and the F sharp to G natural, F natural, and so a descending pattern will be an A natural minor scale. So ascending, you raise the 6 and the 7, and then descending, you just play natural minor, so all white keys. It's called a melodic minor scale. Probably, I'm guessing it. If you were a singer, it is an easier scale to sing. This F to the F sharp is actually no longer an interval. It's actually a wider interval than a whole tone. All the scales are consisting of whole tones and half tones, or semitones. But when you construct that a harmonic minor scale, that's a whole step above. That's more than a whole step, which means that it's already a minor third. It's a whole step is a second. This is same note, minor second, major second, minor third, and major third. Those are intervals that if you study music theory, those are the labels that you will give it. So F to the G sharp is actually a minor third. So melodic meaning, if you were a singer and you had to sing some scale-wise runs, those are like vocalese type thing, or cadenza-like segments, is very hard to sing. So that part, you've evened out the intervals. E to the F sharp is a whole step. That's a whole step and half step. Makes it more natural sounding. And coincidentally, that's the last four notes of the A major scale. So you're sort of doing the A. You start out with an A minor and end with an A major. But when you're descending, cancel everything, A natural minor. So it's almost like a hybrid scale. Anyhow, so that's the second theme. I will not do any more than that. I will only explain how to play the first theme. I'll probably, you don't have to worry so much about the minor scale. I talk too much. Okay, so let's begin. Beginning, always the beginning of your music is very important. A lot of information given right there. So C, common time, it means 4/4, 4 quarter notes in every measure. And no key signature, so it is C major. It could be A minor too, but in this case we know it's a C major because it ends, the second ending ends on a C. First ending, there's an F sharp and it ends on a G. That is the dominant key of this C major. Nonetheless, it's a 4/4 time C major, and allegretto, you wouldn't be playing allegretto just yet, but eventually you will increase your tempo so that it's nice and fairly fast, not too fast, not as fast as allegro. I think if you are playing this about 108 is probably a good tempo, anywhere between 108 and 120. But for now, we'll go slowly. Now this right hand, it's C major, but your thumb starts on the G. So the starting hand position is already very irregular. Same with the left hand. It's a C major song, but the pinky is on the G as well. Okay, so it's sort of an interesting layout. So we won't be. I'll go over the right hand first, but just for reference, left hand is already. Those are the first two notes of your left hand, and then the right hand. It's sort of interesting how a C major song already starts on the G. So I will go through the right hand. And right hand, as you can see, is a lot of eighth notes and quarter note combinations. So you will have to make sure that the rhythm is all good. Well, actually, let's go over the rhythm first. So, it goes ta-ta-ta, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta-ta-ta, 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 ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta, ta 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 ta, rest. That's the rhythm. It's really useful to do that. So you might want to go back in the video and follow along the music, how the rhythm is going. These ta 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 is like, ta ta ta. That's an eighth quarter, eighth quarter. Ta 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 is eighth half. Okay, so one thing there are lots of things you could do when you're practicing piano music away from the piano. One thing is just really stare at your music at the table without sitting in front of the piano, so that you understand all of the notes and you can like basically name all of the notes too. So at the table, you could just do that rhythm exercise, right? You can say ta ta ta, or you can tap your knee, or you can, tap with your finger on the tabletop, That's one exercise that could be done. So that's the right hand rhythm. Next, you can, sit at the table and you can just name all the notes. G, A, G, G, A, G, G, E, C. G, A, B, C, D, D, C, B, A, G. So if you could say that at the table, you're off to a much better start than if you were just sitting at the piano with without giving yourself time to, read through the music. So I would actually suggest you to do that. Starting about here in this John Thompson book, you're going to start having a lot of notes, basically. This is a long piece. It has 3 sections plus a coda. Well, although, the section 1 and 3 are pretty much the same. And you have right and left hand going simultaneously for most of your music. So that's a lot of notes to crunch, to crunch, or, to be able to read and play. So do sit down at the desk. I actually spend at least half of my time practicing music just by looking at the notes. I always say if I can't imagine what the tune is going to be like just by looking at the book, I haven't looked at it enough. So, hopefully you will be, sitting at the table, reviewing going through that section, the first 3 lines of this song at the table, and you will have finished the rhythm exercise and, naming all of the keys for your, at least for your right hand. Left hand you will have to do as well, but nonetheless, so do that. And now you go to the piano and you play. Okay, I still have good. All right, so the right hand starts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that's a surprise because G and Pinky has to go to E. That's a 1-5. You might be tempted to play a G and a D, but it's a stretch already. G, E, C. Okay, so those are the kind of things that you may not be able to pick up on if you didn't have a chance to look at the music beforehand. So here we go. And I keep on going. And first ending, that's a B. And D. And second time. Second ending starts at G. Okay, so I remember whenever a student was learning this song, I basically said, make sure you know your first ending, your second ending very well. You give yourself the opportunity to play the first 6 measures of that part 2 times when you are playing it through, right? Because first time you go to the first ending, second time you go to the second ending. So your first ending and your second ending doesn't get much time to, to review. So make sure you give yourself a lot of time, many, many times going over the first ending. I'll just do the first ending. Okay, again. Okay, So that's the first ending. Second ending starts on the G. 2, 3, 4. Again. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so make sure you get those first and second endings down. So that's the right hand. Now I go to the left hand. Left hand is, they're all quarter notes, but the notes change quite frequently because now the left hand is really doing the accompaniment job by holding on, by giving it good harmony background to your right hand melody. So again, the left hand, you should sit at the table and be able to name each of those notes. So here we go. Let's go take a look at it. So this one, the first one, that's 2 ledger lines. So what that note is that it's a skip up from the first ledger line note. The first ledger line note on the bass clef would be a middle C. So it's a skip above it. So it's actually E above the middle C. So that's E, G, and that is a ledger line. It's above the ledger line. So that's a D above the middle C, and it's a D sharp. And then back to G. So you keep on going back to G, right? The pinky always goes back to the G throughout all the way to measure 6, and then it changes at the first ending. If you were at the second ending, it's still pinky continues to go back to the G. So I'm just going to, ignore the G for now. So that was an E above the middle C, D sharp, E again, E again. Now that's higher than the E because it's above the second ledger line. So that's E, and that's an F. One step higher than the E. That's an F, F, back to E, 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 D sharp, E, E. So let's go to the second ending because second ending is easier. So that's at F again because it's second ledger line above the second ledger line. F, F, and that's C and E played together. G and C and E. Okay, now go back to the first ending. That one is same as that. One ledger line, it's above it, so it's one note above middle C. That's a D above middle C. And then the pinky is going down to, that's a D. Good boy deserves fudge always. It's a D in the middle. The bass clef, the little jingle, good boys deserve fudge always. So that's a D. And that one is B, below the middle C. Middle C is the first ledger line, is right below it, so that's a B. And then D again. There you go, that's a C. And then D, and then that will be G and B. Okay, so be able to say all of those letter names at the table before you even go to the piano, because it's just, oh, well, actually, if you're familiar with all the ledger line notes and you could just kind of visually tell right away, it's fine. If you're like upper intermediate, I don't think you even have to worry about all those ledger lines and counting them. But these are all still new at this point in this book, so do go over. Now I will play the left hand ones through. Okay, time is good. 1, 2, 3, 4. First ending. Okay. So the first 6 measures are quite easy. It's always going some note and going back to G, right? So E, D, E, E, F, F, E, 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 D, E, E. And that's the playing just the upper notes of the quarter note pattern. And the first ending. So make sure you know that first ending very well. Now I just skip over the first 6 measures, go straight to the second ending. Left hand goes. Okay, that's a ledger line, a 2 ledger line F. Okay, so that's what you need to be able to do before you go put 2 hands together. I will, well, yeah, I will play once through. I will play with a repeat, first ending and then second ending. These are both hands together. So that's your first part. Make sure you get that part down. The contrasting middle part in the A minor key of A minor is completely different type of writing. There is really no commonness, nothing similar between this second theme and the first theme, except for maybe like the scale wise part. And the fact that, but after all, most songs are made up of these scale wise parts and the chord or broken chord parts. So in a way, it's sort of very standard. But I think the one commonality between the two sections that pops out are the scale parts. And then the middle part. Oh. There's that. And in the transition part, right before the third revival, where the first theme comes back, is a series of scales. So that's I think the scale, the ascending scale is the theme, the underlying theme for throughout the whole piece. And as you can see, the coda has that too. So, that comes back too. Okay, so I will leave it at that. I'll explain the rest in the next video. Good luck!